So I want to talk about why pitching and outreach rarely works and what I like to do instead. And that's basically what I wanted to cover in this video. So the first thing is that the issue with pitching is that it often feels very one-sided, right? As the individual, when they see that message, when that comes through, it's often going to feel one-sided. It doesn't really feel like it was meant for them, right? And a lot of the time pitches are going to be pretty broad, they're going to be copy and paste, and it feels very inefficient and it just doesn't really feel like it was meant for me, right? I know for me, when I see a message come through that is just a simple blatant pitch and it's paragraphs and paragraphs long or however long, it just doesn't feel like it's relevant to me at all. And the second problem as well is that a lot of the time these pitches lack context, right? They lack context in the sense of perhaps they're not very personalized, but more importantly, they lack context of the individual they're reaching out to, right? They don't know their situation. They don't even know if that person has a problem. If that person does have a problem, they don't know anything about it. So it feels very just sort of forced and very just in their sort of face. So, what I look to do instead is I like to focus on warm and personalized outreach. So, I want to talk a bit more about how I look to approach this. The first thing is the reason why I do warm personalized outreach is to really solve these very problems, right? Because, first of all, I'm trying to start a conversation. Right, I'm trying to start a conversation, and this is exactly what is going to open up a back and forth messaging, right? It's going to open up that conversation, and it's no longer going to feel like it's being one sided. And the second thing is that what I also focus on with this outreach, not only is it just a conversation, but it's to see if they have a problem or not, right? I'm trying to see, do they have a problem or not, which helps me actually avoid lacking context. It gives me context, give me a better understanding of where they're at, where they're trying to go, or if, just generally if they have a problem that I can solve or not. That's pretty much why I focus on doing this. So, what I focus on doing in terms of a more regular routine that you can start actioning today is pretty simple. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take people that are recently connected with me. So, for instance, I might send maybe that's a terrible 20, but I'll redo that. I might send about maybe 20 sort of connection requests every single day, Monday to Friday, right? On LinkedIn Sales Navigator list, which I've covered in other videos, but it might take me about 5-10 minutes, right? I'll send the 20 connection requests from those that accept, let's say, I don't know, five accept from the 20. I would then look to then start conversations with these people, right? Because these people, I mean, they're not exactly hot leads, but they're slightly warmer than the rest of the sort of leads you could reach out to because they've seen your profile, they've seen a bit more about what you do, and if they've accepted it, then they might also be open to learning more about what you do potentially. So really from here, all we're going to focus on doing is basically reaching out to these people, right? We want to be the people that start the conversation. So in this case, it will be focusing on personalizing the message. So this is trying to make sure that the message feels like it's sent to them. You don't need to go crazy with this. A lot of the time for me, this is just simply something as, mentioning something specific about a recent post that I saw of theirs. That usually quite helps just because it just helps them understand that this, somewhat feels like tailored to them to some degree. And then the other thing I'm focusing on doing, then asking a qualifying question. This really is just a question to see if they have a problem that you can solve or not. And that all you're trying to do with this question is just try and ask a question that's going to help bring that problem up to the table. So, for example, for me, I could ask something like, how's your LinkedIn lead generation coming along? Or I could ask, how things are with sort of lead generation and if they're sort of consistent or if they're a bit hit or miss, right? And you can ask this for different industries, right? So for example, maybe for a weight loss coach, you could even ask something such as like, hey, like, curious, do you feel sort of energized and sort of lean on a sort of day-to-day basis, or are you still trying to put together a routine, or are you still trying to find what works best for you, right? So you can tailor it, but all you're trying to do is to see if they have a problem or if they don't have a problem. And from there, if they open up about a problem, that's when you want to basically, as soon as possible, as soon as it feels right to, you want to propose a call to chat further. But if they don't, then obviously that's when you move on. But this is pretty much the approach that I will look to take, and it's pretty straightforward. You send connection requests, people that accept. You then like start that first conversation. You make sure you personalize that message. You ask a qualifying question. The qualifying question is often going to stay the same or very similar. You can obviously test out variations. So this is going to take something which probably is not going to take much time every single week to do. What it means that if you're connecting with the right people on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and you're sending messages and you're starting conversation, for example, 5 new messages every day, that's Monday to Friday, that's 25 new conversations every week. Assuming you're following up, you're probably going to be able to book at least a couple calls every single week. So this is effectively what I'm focusing on doing. So hopefully you found this useful, and if this is something that you're looking to outsource or get more help with generally, then you can always reach out and learn more about what I do. But hopefully you found this useful, and if you can apply this and get results, that's fantastic. But that said, I'll chat soon.